This is Italy, known around the world for its food, its architecture, its beauty, and its dysfunctional governments. Located in southern Europe, Italy has become one of the popular kids in the world, and its economy isn't too shabby either. That said, Italy's economy isn't the well-oiled Italian supercar we'd all like it to be. In order to understand, we've got to check out its history. Italy is a much younger nation than you might think. Unified only in 1861, it was actually a very poor European nation, with a GDP per capita half that of the British and 75% that of the French and Germans. Its citizens struggled economically for most of the 19th century, as stagnant growth plagued the newly born nation, which in part encouraged many Italians to emigrate to the Americas, with Italians settling in Argentina, Uruguay, the USA, and Venezuela. However, things did turn around for the Italian economy towards the end of the 19th century. The northern cities of Turin and Milan became hubs in the textile, chemical, banking, and engineering industries, creating jobs and encouraging Italians to leave the rural towns and migrate to the city. However, under the fascist regime of Benito Mussolini, Italy's economy began to head in a different direction. Mussolini slowly abandoned the laissez-faire approach to the economy and replaced it with government intervention, which led to a series of protectionist policies as well as government acquisitions. Post-World War II, Italy's economy was in pieces, and it had fallen drastically behind those of more advanced European economies. However, luckily for Italy, help was at hand as a result of the Cold War. You see, Italy at the time was a fragile democracy and was considered by the United States of America as an important ally for the free world, and as a result it received over $1.2 billion under the infamous Marshall Plan, which helped kickstart the Italian economy. As the aid through the plan came to an end, there were worries that the economy would not be able to sustain itself. But luckily for Italy, this period coincided with the Korean War, which drastically increased demand for manufactured goods that could be produced in Italy and would help grow the economy. The decades that followed are recognized as the golden era for the Italian economy, with growth rates averaging 5 to 6%, second only to West Germany and Europe. Italy's economy ballooned in size, and in 1987 it even surpassed the UK's economy to become the fourth richest nation in the world, after the US, Japan, and West Germany. Unfortunately for Italy though, this success had an expiration date, and from the late 90s the Italian economy began to stagnate. This stagnation had many causes, from restrictive economic policies, red tape, and the use of the euro, which has resulted in Italy not being able to devaluate its currency in order to boost exports, and therefore growth, a tactic often used to get the Italian economy back on track. So with all that said, what does Italy's economy look like today? Is it still the fourth richest nation in the world? Italy's economy is large. It's the fourth largest economy in Europe after Germany, France and the UK, and it ranks 8th globally, ahead of more populous countries such as Russia and Brazil. Like many advanced economies, Italy's economy is dominated by the service sector, which comprises 74% of all economic activity, and noteworthy industries within the service sector include tourism, banking and insurance. In fact, Italy is a global leader in the tourism industry, and with its beautiful beaches, amazing food and incredible historic sites to visit, that may disappear soon, it's easy to understand why. Back in 2018, Italy received more than 62 million international visitors. That ranked it 5th globally, and more importantly for the economy, it generated 189 billion euros in revenue. Perhaps Italy's economy is more famous though for its manufacturing sector, as a global leader in exporting luxury goods, whether they be cars, boats, food, robots or furniture. Italy's economy seems to make and export everything. For example, its automotive industry plays a significant role in the economy, contributing 8.5% of Italy's GDP and employing more than 480,000 people back in 2015. Brands like Ferrari, Lamborghini and Maserati are world famous and cater to a specific type of client. The success of the Italian manufacturing sector is down to its ability to excel in niche markets. Italy know that they cannot compete on price when compared to emerging markets, so as a result, they have specialized. And for the most part, this has been successful, since for clients who buy the latest sports car or designer handbag, price doesn't play a significant role in their decision to purchase the item. Rather, it's the quality of the product that does. And that's where Italy's Made in Italy label comes in handy. You see, with a reputation of being on the forefront of design and Milan being arguably the fashion capital of the world, Italian manufacturing firms benefit from decades of Italy's reputation of being a stylish nation. This stylish factor is just one of many that separates Italian consumer goods from many other nations around the world. With all that said, how do Italians rank when compared to their counterparts in other highly developed nations today? Italians on the whole rank as pretty wealthy individuals. Their GDP per capita, for example, ranks them 26th globally, which isn't bad at all. However, what must be understood is that northern Italy and southern Italy are drastically different economically. For example, in the northern regions of Lombardy, Trentino and Emilia-Romagna, their GDP per capita rank them alongside German and Dutch regions, whereas southern regions like Calabria and Sicily are more comparable with Estonia, Portugal and Slovenia. The divide between the north and the south of Italy is a whole separate video, but it's important to mention since it skews a lot of the national data about Italy. That said, with regards to employment, Italy is not the most active country. Its employment rate at the end of 2019 was only 59%, far lower than Germany and more in line with Spain and Costa Rica. However, critics of measuring such data mention that Italy's shadow economy is extremely large, producing anywhere between 10 and 20% of Italy's GDP, and therefore many workers are simply not being accounted for. One statistic that does give the impression that Italians are not as active as their European counterparts is that of the duration of one's working life. Data compiled by Eurostat show that for 2019, the average duration of one's working life in Italy was only 32 years, the shortest in the whole of the EU. This statistic is drastically different when compared to other EU countries like Sweden, Portugal and Ireland. Italy's economy over the last century has been on a roller coaster. It's gone from being invaded by the Allies to becoming the fourth largest economy on the planet to now being a stagnant economy that excels in niche areas. Some of its companies may be world leaders in certain industries, but there's no denying that the economy as a whole has been lagging behind its peers for a while now. I'd expect that in the future, the Italian economy as a whole will continue down a route of slow growth that sees it fall behind even more of its European neighbours, and the divide between its north and south to keep on growing. However, perhaps with the correct governance that looks to encourage innovation and participation in growing industries, Italy can escape a somewhat gloomy image. Hi everyone, thanks for watching another video here on Economics in Action. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and check out my other content here on this channel. Take care, bye.